This club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0.
Sorry for smiling there.
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Ooh, sir, how we doing? How we doing? The American Red Devils are headed abroad. We are sitting in SFO waiting to fly out to Heathrow for our annual trip over the pond to see the great Manchester United at Old Trafford against the Whites of Fulham from London. And we're excited, ramped up, ready to go. Sir, how are we feeling? How are we doing?
4 games on the streak. ARD coming in, making the pilgrimage to the faithful ground of Old Trafford, the Stretford End. We'll be singing our hearts out, losing our voices. Can't wait. Like Alex said, Gate A9, sitting here like a few madmen with microphones, letting everybody know.
In front of everybody.
That we do in this pod. So apologies for any background noise, but we are so amped up. It's been a rough year, but I couldn't be more excited to be cheering on the lads in the Stretford End because, hey, you might be playing for scraps, but we're going to be fighting for those scraps. Excited to see Hoyland in person for the first time, Garnacho as well. A lot of big milestones for me at this game, and just being back in our seats. You know, we're season ticket holders. We worked hard for those tickets. I was on the list for about a decade, and anytime we go to them, it's special. It's a special place, and it's going to be February weather, so let's go bundle up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
London weather on the menu. Cannot wait for it. Like you said, going to get to see Kobe in the flesh, which is going to be exciting. And at the same time, a little bit of positivity for such a terrible season that it's been thus far. You know, like you said, 4 games on the trot in the EPL, 5 games in a row, plus the Jim Ratcliffe news and the interview, right, and being signed off by the SEC, it seems, and getting full endorsement there, but more so the interviews and him laying out his vision for the club in the new era, what he's here for at the end of the day, recruitment, facilities, bringing Manchester United back to the top, trying to knock off our northern neighbors from their own perches. So it feels like a great time to make the journey, sir, given that this has been one of the more positive times of this season. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we got to protect that steely home record. Fulham coming in, but the Ratcliffe news, like you said, that's the big one. It feels to me like we're all the Qatar Muppets that were chirping on Twitter. I got to call that out because the entire time we said, like, hey, the Ratcliffe deal is not end of the world if it's not change of control, because if he's going to do a minority deal, it's going to come with a lot of caveats. Glazers have taken a step back. I said, wait and see the terms of the deal. Now everyone's changing the tune. Ratcliffe's out in the press, closes the deal, drops in an awesome interview. Super authentic dude. Just calling it like he sees it. He probably listens to the pod because we said the whole thing. It's going to take a long time. It's not going to be straightforward. Football on the pitch is the first priority. By the way, the stadium, big problem. We got to fix it. Looking through all those options. He's got world-class people on it. He's a boyhood Manchester United fan. And he's taking the long-term view. What do you say? I'm a steward of the club. The club belongs to the fans. Everything this guy has to say is coming up gold. You love to see it. What a deal. What a man. It's early beginnings and talk is cheap, but you could tell by the way he talks about the club and just the way he shoots it straight in the interview that we're in a good position with him at the top.
No, there's a lot to get excited about given how dire it's been with our owners over the last 18 years. But Ratcliffe, like you said, the whole acquisition period was such a noise fest between the Qataris and himself, but Ratcliffe was, that kind of tortoise. Low and slow, and all the hype was around the Qataris. But I think Ratcliffe has come in and convinced a lot of people, at least from what we could tell 2 months in, that he seems to have good intentions. He's a thoughtful dude. I thought he was very gracious with how he talked about previous managers, how he talked about the Glazers, even like respect for some of our rivals in a way that's, has that kind of fight. I want to knock them off their perches, but him talking about having a civilized conversation with City and then us landing Omar Barada, I thought was a really good look. So I'm excited about him. It seems like a super smart dude. He's appointing the best people possible, and that's what we need to do. That's what it's going to take to get back to the promised land. And you know what? Promised Land is going to be London and
2 or 3
Manchester for the next
seasons.
3-4 days. And he is going for 2 to 3 seasons. Very good point. Not 10-year plan. Next 2-3 years.
All right, quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils and you enjoy the Muppet Take with these two guys podding at the airport in the lounge right before we take
It's not a
off for
lounge.
London. Well, it's the ARD lounge.
There you go.
It's the ARD lounge right in front of the gate. If you like listening to us, have a blast. The ups and the downs of following this club. We are 100% fan-backed, 100% fan-supported, no commercial sponsors on the podcast. Support us via Patreon, patreon.com/AmericaRedDevils. Behind-the-scenes episode every single month. Please check it out. Also check out our store, AmericaRedDevils.store. Eric Ten Hag's Red Army scarf, 4 games on the trot. We're going for the 5th place. Come on, let's go. Pick it up. Also, check out AmericaRedDevils.com. Great blog content. Sir, tell me about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews and 5-star reviews of the American Red Devils podcast, wherever you listen. It's a great way to support the pod. Gets us found organically, and even better, we're giving away free merch. All you have to do is write a 5-star review wherever you listen. But if you want to get the merch on iTunes or Spotify and send a screenshot of that review to AmericanDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear, send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great one from unsatisfied customer number 32. Loving this pod, new listener, but loving the frequency of the coverage following a match. It's fantastic to be able to have a review of the game right away. Keep up the great work, fellas. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone writing those 5-star reviews, sir. Hopefully, we get to see the 5-star Reds on Saturday, not Sunday. Mixing it up.
Alex has a bad seat, wearing a black flannel shirt. Looks like he's sweating before the flight. How are you going to make it through? It's an 11-hour flight. You sit next to me.
I'm going to go sleep.
So what's your plan on the flight? Like flight to London, we do this crazy trip where we Thursday to Monday, we go in, we're doing United Fulham. Like we land in London, stay there, train to Manchester, go to the game, Manchester Fulham, get those 3 points easy. Then we're going to the EFL final, meet up with our boy, who's actually a Scouse Bastard fan.
Unfortunately.
We're going to Chelsea versus Scouse Bastards. EFL final at Wembley will be awesome. What's your strategy for the flight? How are you going to make it through the red eye and then the next 48 hours? So this could be a sprint.
It is going to be a sprint. It always is a sprint. But here's the thing. Anyone knows Alex from ARD well, I sleep in transpo. So I sleep on the flight. I sleep on the train. If I'm moving, I'm sleeping because sleep is precious, always. But especially when you're changing time zones and you're having a couple pints, you need to get that rest. So that is what I'm looking forward to, sir. It sometimes bothers my co-travelers. I'm not very talkative when I travel. But you got to get the rest.
He does the full, Hannibal Lecter. You put your hands under the seatbelt and then wrap the seatbelt over your hands.
Sorry, this is intimate stuff. Our hair is down.
Alex is like a big snorer, likes to saw. This guy, have you ever seen those wood chopping competitions where they're climbing up the trees? This guy's sawing logs all day. It's a
great way to make friends in summer camp, or if you're staying in a hostel after drinking too much. But that's another pod.
Seatbelt over his hands,
okay,
passed out,
very
just sawing logs for 11 hours into London.
Who are we playing this weekend?
It's going to be go. But the fans want to know how many dark ales night one. What would you say?
the fan that you listen to him, Mike. Last year I overdid a little bit.
11 Guinness straight out of the tap.
I think this is like
it's
not.
Fish,
it's like a fish story. It's one time it was 11 inch.
I was there. It was
now it becomes 20 inch.
No, it was 11 out of the tap. This guy.
They go down smooth. They go down smooth. I'll tell you what. In the aisles as well.
One location, by the way.
They go down smooth. Great pub. Pub game is unrivaled in England. I'm trying to take it easy.
So how many
Guinness
Guinness are we doing night one?
High single digits, but I don't need to break
8 or 9.
Yeah. We'll see. Either way. We got a football match to talk about. We're previewing.
All right. United. Well, we'll get a little preview of the trip. Having a blast here. Manchester United, Fulham, Old Trafford. Dark ales flowing on the night before. Dark ales flowing the morning of. And we'll see. Well, I'll probably keep a count the whole trip. See where you get it.
Okay, very good. So we have seen Fulham at the Cottage. We were lucky enough to see a very solid win. I think it was 3-0, if I remember correctly. And that was the week
4. It was Martial, Pogba. I think Pogba brace. It was. We had great seats.
Martial got the early goal. We got great seats.
Great.
Didn't work at first.
Too.
You got Anyway, so we're playing them at home with a lot to talk about, sir. The game Saturday, of course, the 24th, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. local time. So we're taking the train up at 9 a.m., getting into 11, and then having a couple hours of the prees, enjoying the game, and then heading back down. So that's a way to do it. If you ever want to go to Old Trafford to see a game. Also, staying up there is easy if you have the time. It's just that we have the quick turnaround and want to get back for the final. But getting some stats, sir.
Lifetime versus Fulham, we've won 56, drawn 20, lost 14. First time we played them in 1905. Manchester United versus Fulham, 2-2 in the FA Cup. We've won 4 and drawn 1 in the last 5. So we're sitting pretty against Fulham. But if you remember, what was it, November 2023, was that the Garnacho steal it right before international break?
Could have
or
been.
It could have been last season. I'm just trying to make sure.
No, that was this season, but I don't remember who
I think
scored
it was
the winner.
Garnacho. Regardless, we have good form. We're on good form. Some people have been saying, like, we haven't been playing the best. Paul Scholes tweeted out, I think, Manchester United is the only team that could get battered and win 5-0. That seems to be the theme.
It's not unfair at times.
And, Scholes, he calls balls and strikes like he sees it. Fulham, last 5, they lost to Villa by 1. They beat Bournemouth 3-1. Drew Burnley 2-2. Drew Everton 0-0. And then Newcastle beat him 2-0. So a little bit all over the board, but they're not necessarily in good form.
No, they're not in good form, but they're always a dangerous side. They're like meddling right below the mid-table for the EPL, and what we've seen with Pereira, that other midfielder that was going to go to Bayern Munich, whose name escapes me.
He just cooked us last year. I know it starts with a P, I believe.
Yeah, they got Willian, they have Jimenez, so it's like they're always going to be dangerous team to play at Old Trafford. I think United's going to be in good form. I think, the form bothers me, but the mood is right. It's like I think United and Old Trafford is going to be in good form because people are going to be. I think people are genuinely excited about the Ratcliffe news, given all the interviews and saying the right things.
Yeah, but the ARD jinx. You have to remember that.
We're due for a win, though.
I know.
We have the Wolves win, but still, Fulham, big game. I think getting this 5th win against a team that you have to be beaten if you want to be clawing up the table, which we have been. But they're going to be dangerous, and we just have to. The big question mark is what you do at left back, right? Given Shaw going out for the season. And us having no backups because Malacia is still injured, I think that was the big question mark. So, but we have a team that is capable, and hopefully we get some goals. Hoyland shines, all 3 points.
Shout out to Adam for the scouting report.
Let's go, Adam.
All right, apologies for the airport. All right, that's not us.
This is exactly what you think it is.
Lafferty Daniels. All right. Well, we're going to fight through this here real quick. Adam says that manager.
Please proceed to gate A9 to verify your passport. And you are also aging for Smith
Hey.
Lauren, a party of 3.
We're trying to do a pod over here.
Please proceed to gate A9, lower level, for an important message. Thank you.
Anyone ever hear a gate announcement that long? Regardless, like rookies here, you got to check your passport
A lot
before
of
you
names.
jump on the flight. Let's go. All right. Those are free shout-outs on the pod. There should be no free shout-outs on the pod. Adam says strategy. Manager Marco Silva earned promotion in a second year in the Premier League by utilizing a dynamic midfield to swing the ball out to pacey wingers and fullbacks, which set up crossing opportunities. This proved much more effective last season and the previous championship season when Mitrovic was leading the line for the campaign. Obviously, Mitrovic went to Saudi to get that bag, as a lot of different world-class footballers did this past summer. But Andres Pereira, players to watch, former Manchester United midfielder, actually coming up good at Fulham, and something that, to me, there's probably not a spot in our team for him, but you like to see a former Manchester United player do well.
You really do, and there's been a lot of those examples this season. So Pereira, he had a flyer last year. He's still contributing a lot. Paulino was the player I was thinking of, but like Ted and Menji's playing well. Luton, obviously Garner's playing pretty well from what I've heard at Everton. So either way, they're a strong team. They got Ream, U.S. shout out.
Also,
Anthony Robinson, who's been excellent this season. I think he's really stepped up a notch.
Shout out to the U.S. men's national team. As you know, we are the American Red Devils. Also, Rodrigo Munoz, with Raul Jimenez sidelined due to injury. Fulham may have finally found a serviceable replacement to Mitrovic. The in-form 22-year-old Brazilian Muniz, interesting name there, Muniz, is a physical striker who has 4 goals in his last 3 matches. Despite his form, Silva might be forced to start Chelsea loanee Broha, actually. So
Broha from Chelsea.
Broha or Muniz could be starting, but they look feisty. I watched them in their game this past weekend. Adam says, United catch a break with Paulinho suspended. Fulham are dire on the road. They have won once all season away, and that was week 1 when they pipped Everton. United is a much better team, and Fulham is a much worse team compared to when these sides scored off at Craven Cottage in November. He says Manchester United 3, Fulham 1, sir.
I think that sounds about right. Like we've been converting chances. We haven't been creating as many chances as we should be, but Højlund certainly found his scoring feet. He's looking great. Garnacho, he hasn't had a goal in a couple of games, but he still looks super threatening. And then Rashi, you never know what you can get with Rashi, but when he shows up, he's lights out. So it's a big game. Midfield, I think the midfield we got, we should be able to control it. Kobe's playing so well. I'm excited to see him in the flesh. Like you said, all the young lads see in the flesh. That's going to be great. So big test for United, but the defenders, right? The list of injuries is all of a sudden went from having everyone available like a couple of weeks ago to now not so much.
All right, injuries. Martinez out. Martial out. Malacia out. Mason Mount out. Apparently he can come onto the bench, but it's up to Ten Hag. AWB, Luke Shaw, Magoo is out. He's injured. He's a doubt. But Shaw's out for 12 weeks. Martinez might come back sooner, but regardless, like you said, tons of injuries in our back line. Who is going to play left back? Given those injuries, what is your 11 for Manchester United?
Let's do it, sir. I'm going to do Onana in net. My back 4 is going to be Kambwala at right back. I'm going to do Varane, Evans, and Delo at left back. And then the front 6 picks itself: Casemiro, Kobe, Bruno, Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho. So what you got?
I got something. Onana, Delo, Varane, Evans, Amrabat. I think you're going to see him play left back.
That's cheeky.
And then, like you said, it's just going to be Casemiro, Kobe, Bruno, Rashford, Højlund, and Garnacho. Booking the bookies, United heavy favorites minus 195. The draw plus 370. Fulham to win plus 460. The bookies don't know we're going to the game.
We're due. So I'm not touching that line when I get to Ladbrokes. Shout out, making gambling as accessible as possible in England, which I commend them for. But I wouldn't touch that. I'm not confident we're going to win, but I wouldn't bet anything else.
You should be confident. Give us a score. Give us a score.
Score line. I'm going to say 2-0. What about you, sir?
I'm going to go with Adam. I think 3-1. I wouldn't bet a clean sheet with this back line, and I think we're going to score some goals. The only question is, how do we play? Do we control the ball? Are we able to make it look a little easier on the eyes, a little less nervy? I have a feeling we'll probably be like 2-1. We'll be sweating in the Stretford end and maybe pull it out at the death. Regardless,
don't hate that.
It's going to be a fun game. 5 in a row. Got to be buzzing about that. Let's get into the news. All right, all right, this lady's killing us here.
Same list again, I hope. Hopefully.
All right. Pardon. All right, passport verification ongoing. Let's rip through this news. Ratcliffe, 25%. Boom, done.
28.
So he's 28% all in, 27.7%.
Let's go, baby.
Is the deal half Class A, half Class B. Glazer's selling some on the stock exchange. Obviously, the club is getting the $300 million as part of the deal. This was a formality. It closed sooner than we thought, right? April to June is what they said.
FA still has to bless it. That's still to come. But that's formality as well, like you said.
No, they did in a certain way, and it's just like we're at formalities. Like the deal's been agreed. It's like he's there, and now that this is official, it's like, okay, what does he decide to do? He decides to step up and give a proper interview. Like
A lot of them.
Exactly, and that's what we need, and that's what this club needs. You can't have the best club in the world with like no front man, and that's what is encouraging about this deal, is that the Glazers just don't care. Like they're just like, hey man, you really care about this club? Like do whatever you want, and that's exactly what we want to see. Because the Glazers don't care, so this guy does, irrationally, to a level where he paid so much out of it, and he says he doesn't expect any investment return. He's like, doesn't view this as an investment, and that it's all basically about trying to help Manchester United perform again. It's all about the football at the end of the day, and the quote that we will have the soundboard is basically like, Manchester United should be winning the league and winning the Champions League. It's not about finishing top 5, top 4. It's about winning the league and winning the Champions League, and that's what we need to get back to. Sir Jim Ratcliffe understands that, and man, it's a breath of fresh air hearing someone talk like that at the top of the club.
No, it changes everything. It changes the relationship between ownership and the fans, and in some ways the squad as well, because it's an open book that we haven't seen in 20 years, especially under the Glazers. There was nothing. There was an initial statement when they bought it, and we never heard from him again. And they were negligent owners, and he seems to want to be the face of it. He wants to be all over it, and he's a man that is very intelligent. He got to the place where he is as one of the wealthiest people in England and therefore the world, because he's a smart dude. And you could tell by the interviews he's thoughtful, he's smart, he's got a good approach to it. And I think at this point in his career, he wants a legacy. And what kind of better legacy than bringing United, the greatest club in the world, back to the glory days, having everything that we used to have, proper sporting structure, the best facilities in the world, the best academy in the world, best squad in the world, and also refurbishing this entire area around Old Trafford, which is a brilliant idea, hoping to get some government financing, as the Americans would do. And they should if they're going to host northern events. West Ham did it. Other clubs have done it. So I'm excited. I think I speak for a lot of fans. I think we're excited and hopeful that he's a man of his word.
Yeah, and the way he talked about it, where he wants Old Trafford to host Champions League final, he wants it to host a ton of other games and events, and that's the way we should be thinking. It should be Wembley of the North. And they should redevelop the whole area. Now, who knows what's going to happen with that? But one of the funnier things he said in the interview, he's like, I don't need to make money off this. I make money off of like gas and chemicals or like whatever. He was like, bro, I didn't pay this ridiculous price. He's like, I paid this ridiculous price to help Manchester United. He said he's been rooting for the team since he was 6 or 7. I mean, just truly like, and also just the way he shoots it straight. I mean, like, we're from Jersey. You can spot a bullshitter from a mile away. This guy is like literally like no joke, telling you like it is. And he's like, he didn't go in on the Glazers, which is
a class move, dude.
Do. He basically said, I'm focused on the future.
But even still, it's a class way to do it.
No, exactly. He knew. And also I liked how he didn't necessarily think that like we're doing great right now. He was like, when they asked him about that, he walked the tightrope a little bit, where he was basically like, this sucks. like to the point where like, that's what you want. You want the guy who's going to buy you to be like, no. He talked about the way we should play as well. He talked about how the top teams are playing, how we need a top manager, or we need a top talent across the board at United to play like the cities of the world, to win the Champions League, to win the Premier League. This guy is not messing around, and that's why this like shitfootball.com is going to go. It is going to die very fast. He also tempered expectations on the timeline, which I think is great too. 2 to 3 years. You can't turn it around all in 1 year, and he says it's going to take some time. And he's a really serious guy who's thinking about the long term, and he's got Manchester United has a place in his heart, and he's a fan. He's a fan like you and me, and bringing that back to United is just so encouraging and feels like I haven't felt this good about the club in a long time. That interview changed a lot.
No, and it wasn't the fact that it was just one interview. He did multiple interviews, talked to all the big journos and publications, and it just gives you a lot to be positive about because he has the right intentions. Like you said, you could listen to him and you could tell he's a smart guy. Talked about where we're at right now, all the environment. He talked about all the managers. He's like, the environment has not been right. If every manager has failed, I thought that was one of the smartest things he said, because it was like, you ain't succeeding because it's, whether it's Erik ten Hag or Mourinho or Van Gaal, it's like the structure was wrong. The structure is inappropriate. But he wants elite sporting talent, sir. He's talking about Dan straight up, and how want to
run through some of his quotes he said?
Yeah.
The dunking on Qatar. I mean, like, let's go.
Amazing,
like,
bro.
He just
Welcome.
literally was
he's
like,
a boy. He's an ARD.
He's like, does that guy even exist? Like,
it's true.
He's already a legend. Sir Jim throwing shade at Qatar, like he don't give a.
Okay, here's some of the best. Here's some of the best quotes. We have to ensure that the right people end up in the right position at Man United. Every person in management must be world class. We need to create positive, supportive, friendly, quality environment. This culture was lacking before. So it's like, it wasn't even just structural issues. It was also like there was some toxicity and the fact that he wants a cohesive team that can work together. The Stadium in the North, like you talked about, returning itself as I might be biased, but I believe that United is the biggest and most well-known club in the world. It should be playing the greatest football in the world.
Let's go.
That is it, bro. Playing the greatest football in the world.
Let's go.
And he talks about the rivals, but he also talks to the rivals in a way that's both ambitious, but I thought I really found it over and over how overly courteous he was, which I think is a class move, and also just like a way to be like, when I come, take your guys.
He's Sir. There's a reason he's Sir Jim Ratcliffe. We're Sirs here on this pod. Everyone listening is a Sir, and he's a Sir as well. He's a Muppet, and he's a fan, but he's smarter than you and me because he's got a couple $1 billion. Let's talk Dan Ashworth. The approach has been official. This looks like Saudi isn't playing as much hardball as we thought, actually. Seems like the deal will go through. Ashworth is on the way out. Maybe he was rubbing elbows with Eddie Howe. That might have led to this as well.
Or the Saudis.
A bunch of smoke coming out on Ashworth, but regardless, it looks like we are going to get our man. It's just a question of how much and how long.
No, 100%. He's on gardening leave, right? He's told Newcastle he wants to leave, so they kind of gave him say, hey, go deal with the tulips. And United, they've been a little hiding in the press, but the price is already coming down. It was 20, now it's 10. Radcliffe made it clear he's the guy we want. He's a 10 out of 10 sporting director. And that's the person we want to get, and that's the person we're gonna get.
That's
it's just
the
a
vibe.
matter of time. It's
that's the vibe. That's what we want. Is we want to get the top guys, and we want to start running this like a serious operation. Remember Arnold? Remember Murtaugh? Remember these clowns? Like, what a riot! Next here, so you got some news on Greenwood. It looks like he's going to be sold. Also, Ratcliffe talked about values, talked about the brand, what it means to be a United player, what should the United play style be, and I think the whole, you got to deal Greenwood. And that talks to that. And, he did say he was pretty neutral on it.
He kind of caged it because he was it came out before the interviews that it was known that they wanted to get rid of Mason Greenwood, which is the move. And it is the move for a Ratcliffe given, what kind of era he's trying to put around the club. So to do that, but then you also have to be coy because you don't act like you're doing a fire sale like we will with Sancho. Because you want to garner a top price. Because you have you actually have top clubs in for it, so you can't be like, yes, we're trying to sell him. It's like, no. He's our player. We'll evaluate it, and we'll evaluate how much money someone in Spain offers us. So that seems like the right move, and fresh start, bro. It's going to be fresh start all around. I mean, he's gutting everybody in the front office. Murtaugh's gone. Fletcher might be gone. That broke today. So it's a full clear out.
I mean, they haven't really helped the club. So,
no, not.
It's like
John Murtaugh?
like Roy Keane says, a bit of jobs for the boys at Manchester United. A bit of jobs for the boys.
Dude, Roy Keane shoots 100. He shoots 100.
It ain't jobs for the boys no more. Speaking of jobs for the boys, this character, Eric Ramsey, remember that guy was going to come in and fix our set pieces? Yeah, how's that going? That guy's going to go.
We did score from a couple corners this
bro.
season, but he is not
this guy,
lived up to the
I'll tell
rep.
you.
He's going to the MLS.
I'll tell you what. You know what? He's too fit to be a proper coach. He looks too in shape.
He's yoked.
You know what I'm saying? That's why you go look at the NFL coaches are all super fat. That's how you know you're really figuring out set pieces if you're just watching film and not doing anything. He looks like he spends too much time in the gym. And by the way, we are such a liability on set pieces that whatever he's cooking up is not good. So I'm glad he's out.
No,
this guy
enough.
was hyped up from Chelsea, right?
We still hear good things. We still hear good things even with him leaving. But to be fair, we did not get better
in
in
there. Sharp-looking gentleman on the touchline, but
he speaks multiple languages. He speaks Portuguese.
Nothing.
No, we have not.
He failed, dude.
Yeah. Well, the whole team failed. But yes, I agree. Eric Ramsey did not live up to the hype. But you know what? Have fun. Good luck.
Minnesota United.
We always wish.
Hey, attack them on set pieces, bro. You'll be fine.
Enjoy that winner.
Holy crap. All right,
we love
sir.
Minnesota, though.
Anything else you would like to add before we jump on this flight for this?
I just thought one little tidbit, which is really just entertaining on the way out, that Richard Arnold was paid £2.6 million last year and got a $600,000 raise, probably because they finished in the Champions League. So Richard Arnold, he's buying drinks next time we see him, and that's why. Probably the last time he's a CEO at a top football club for a long time.
Something tells me Barada is going to be making more money than 2.6 mil. And that's he's probably in the 5 range.
They were saying
to be the CEO of Manchester United, you should be obviously there's stock options associated.
Think about it,
so you don't know
$600
all-in comp, right? Because you have stock comp as well.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, it's probably 5.
Yeah.
Right, because we make $600 million top line. Ashworth's going to get 1.5 to 2. Apparently, he was at 1.5 on Newcastle.
Oh, sir, we're
Exciting
buzzing.
times. Exciting times.
I'm excited to see Alex snore his way to London here. Do you got any movies? Are you watching, you reading anything, any movies, anything we're going to wrap this pod up, but I just think,
I'm going to see what
are your flight tricks
in-flight
and tips?
entertainment.
In-flight, I checked the in-flight entertainment. This says a lot. Not a good movie on the
Nothing
entire
good.
list.
Yeah, well.
Sorry, Virgin Airlines. I went through the whole list. Nothing you want to watch.
I just get a little sleepy. I like to, go to bed, wake up refreshed in London. We go for a jog and get there. That helps with the jet lag. But I get a full night's sleep. Maybe watch a movie, stay up for a little bit, a couple hours, but otherwise get some rest. How about you, sir? You have a plan. You clearly have something in mind.
I'm paranoid, so I just download a ton of content.
So what's top of the content list? You're going to watch Dune again?
I got
it's coming out soon.
The Godfather. Godfather 2.
There you go. Okay.
So a bunch of movies. I just got tons of classic movies, and then I'm reading Dune, the third book in Dune. That's gonna put me to sleep.
Yeah.
There you
Dune,
go. Obviously, great,
ready to go.
Great novel. But unfortunately, I'm sitting next to you, so I'll be fighting the logs.
You're
that
fortunate,
you're
sir.
Yeah,
You can only be so lucky it's next to me.
Well, regardless, we're going to be over across the pond. Hit the match on Saturday. Let's hope the lads pick up 3 points. And then when are we going to pod, sir? What do you think? Sunday morning. I think we're going to pod Sunday morning, drop another one on the recap before the EFL final.
It could be that. It could be as early as Saturday, but Sunday is probably the good hedge, just in case we can't get
we
it on the
could do
train
back. It depends how many dark ales you have and if you're sleeping on the train ride back or not.
Well, pod takes 45 minutes, and then I'll sleep for the last hour.
Last one. How many meat pies are we having over there?
Bro, I don't think there's going to be any, because Wembley they have nicer food than a meat pie. I love a meat pie. The restaurant we're going to now is I don't even know if they have a meat pie, sir. They're it's too posh of a pub.
Yeah, but what do you get? Your Scotch egg? That's your
Scotch egg, and then I'm gonna get fish and chips because you gotta
get
the
Scotch egg?
Scotch egg is a semi-cooked egg wrapped in sausage, and then covered in some kind of breadcrumb or panko, and then deep fried, and then you cut it in half as a runny egg. It is an all-time London
treat. Who would ever want to
treat.
eat that?
Sir, this guy doesn't know nothing, bro. You ask the skinny guy of the crew, who would want to eat that? Oh, I know some guys want to eat it. Have a good one, and then you'll talk to me.
Scotch, so it's how do you wrap
bar
the sausage
food.
around an egg?
You semi-cook the egg.
Have you ever made one?
No, but I've seen them made.
So you hard boil the egg, kind of?
You hard boil it,
Then
but a
you
couple
wrap it
minutes
in
before
meat.
it's done, and then you have a sausage you wrap on the outside.
And you wrap it in
panko.
meat, and then you deep fry that,
Probably need
and
some
then you
egg and
slice
then
it
panko.
in the middle.
You set it right in the middle. It runs. Dude, it's delish. Delish. Meat pies, also good, but the stadium meat pies are so variable. It's it's the high beta.
I'll tell you,
Gravy.
Alex is
Gravy washes down a meat pie, but
Yeah.
I eat more Guinnesses than meat pies.
Yes, the all-time food item we've ever had in England is the gravy latte, the cup of hot gravy at the
Latte
Watford
at
home stadium.
Brighton.
It was Watford. It was Watford.
Radio Watford.
They have coffee and hot gravy. You can just get a cup of hot gravy to sip on in the stands. So
And
maybe
they sell them, so they must be reasonably popular. But we can't wait for the trip. We can't wait to meet some Reds from all over the world. And sir, I'm looking forward to it. I want to win. I want the same result we had last time we played Fulham and we were there, which is 3-4-0. We're going to find out after this, but that sounds good to me.
Yeah, and a quick note on the EFL final. How are you feeling? I mean, obviously, as a neutral going to this is going to be a huge game. Chelsea, Scouse Bastards at Wembley. We're the defending champs. Obviously, nowhere near it. Who are you rooting for? How are you feeling about this game?
Sir, it's just I'm there for the entertainment of watching, two prestige teams from England compete, and the finals are always a great time. Going to Wembley is a great time. I'm certainly rooting against the Scousers. I want both teams to lose so they can just crown the prior champion again. Maybe there's a power outage in England. But I'm rooting for Chelsea because, they have plenty of problems, and I think they're going to give Pochettino longer because he wins the EFL title, and go for it because they're all over the place at the moment. So I'm hoping for the Blues to pull it out. But either way, I'm hoping for all England final. It's always a good time.
No, I think I'm going to go. Obviously, dude, the enemy of the enemy is my friend. You got to pick one. You got to go Chelsea. You got to go.
I mean, Liverpool's our number
I don't
one
want
rival.
this
I want them to win
I feel like
nothing.
you're going to feed the beast. We don't want. I'm just mainly focused on the Scouse Bastards not winning 20. That's really my only
gonna
hope
happen
this year.
It's inevitable, sir. You know, and
But sir, I feel like we're being read off here in the lounge.
Yeah.
We're like
hell of an effort.
these
the America
announcements are coming
Devils.
thick and fast now. Again, appreciate everyone listening to the pod. We're gonna have a great trip. Keep you posted on every step of the way. Follow us on Twitter, socials, everything. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/AmericaDevils, americadevils.store, and americadevils.com. This is the best London trips with the boys, going to Stretford End, singing our hearts out. Cannot wait. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll see you on the other side of the pond.
Let's go.